Hey everyone, this is Zach, the broker for Zach Taylor Real Estate. Today I want to go over Contract Basics 101. I want to help agents be better protected when you guys are helping clients buy and sell real estate. So unfortunately, TREC, the licensing board for Tennessee, has no training on contracts whatsoever. So we all need to get better at contracts to protect ourselves and protect our clients. So my background, I've been licensed in multiple states and also took a Harvard Law class on contracts. So I have a deep understanding of the different forms. So I want to help you guys out. That way, like I said, you guys can be protected. So Contract Basics 101. So this is very entry level, but good framework to build the foundation to continue to get better, because I have a lot of other videos on how to fill out the listing agreement, how to fill out this purchase and sale agreement. So today I kind of want to just cover the framework, not necessarily how to fill out the forms line by line, but just the general framework and good practice. So with your contracts as a realtor in Tennessee, you're going to most likely be using every single time Tennessee Association of Realtor forms, also referred to as TAR forms, or Tennessee Realtors. I believe they're changing their name. So this is why one of the reasons we pay that large fee every single year to the Tennessee Realtors is because we are getting the right to use these forms. So you would notice there's different codes down here as well. So RF is for residential. Every now and then you will see a CF form, and that is for commercial. So don't mix and match the forms. So if you have RF, that's for residential, 1 to 4 units. If you have CF, that is for commercial properties. So first, make sure you're using the right form. And another saying I have is there's probably a TAR form for that. And so a lot of situations that you run into, TAR has a complete database of forms. They have so many forms. I think it's like 155. So if you're looking for something, they probably have it. If they don't, consult your broker for different wording or whatever else you might do. But there is probably a form for each situation. So contract basics. What is a contract? So a contract at the fundamental level, it's basically a bargain. It's a promise. It's an agreement between two parties, and it's in writing. And this agreement is basically a meeting of the minds. Everything is done in good faith. So a meeting of the minds means basically everybody has come to an agreement, and we want to put it on paper, because in Tennessee, it has to be in writing in order to be enforceable. So the meeting of the minds, what has the buyer and seller agreed to? What is the bargain that they've agreed to? We need to put that on paper. And so the more complete your documents are, the better, because we want to, again, protect you. We all have E&O insurance, but we don't want to use it. And we don't want to be the agent that gets sued and gets out of the business. So this is very, very important, because if you're writing a purchase and sale agreement for $500,000 and you mess up, guess what? You could be entitled. They could come after you for $500,000 or damages on top of that. So it's a very, very big deal. I think a lot of agents, unfortunately, don't take this seriously enough, that you're writing a $500,000 contract. If you mess up, guess who's going to come after you for $500,000 plus damages? So we need to be on our game when we're filling these out. And I highly, highly, highly recommend, one, reading this 2 times over. Before you fill this out for the very first time, read this twice over. Watch any training videos that your company has, and consult your broker after that. You need to know this contract in and out before you even fill it out. I've seen a couple agents from different companies that have filled this out and they've never even read it, which is very scary. So you need to know what's in here first. So read it. So if we're going through here, buyer and seller on these 2 lines, again, I'm not going to go through the entire thing line by line, just some highlights. So buyer and seller. So if we say Jack Smith and Susan Smith, and then we leave this blank. I see this a lot. We need to put all parties on this contract. We need to define who is this purchase and sale agreement between. Even though the seller will sign at the bottom, we need to put them on the form. We need to acknowledge these are the parties. So make sure you get everything in writing. Let me put as well. Okay, another instance with this contracts is get everything in writing, as far as if you have communication with the other agent or your client gives you instructions, follow up like a phone call with an email. So if they say, hey, Zach, I want to go ahead and cancel this contract. Well, you would write an email to your client and say, please confirm, based on what we said over the phone, that you wish to cancel this contract. So make sure you follow up everything. If the other agent says, hey, we would like these things fixed, and it's over the phone, make sure you follow that up with an email. Document everything. The more you document, the better you protect yourselves. Because again, we don't want to be on the hook for $500,000, $400,000, or have to use our E&O insurance. So follow everything verbally in writing and make sure it gets signed off on. Let's see what else I have. Okay, so I want to go down here for a second. Some different things I see with this contract. Again, read it, but purchase and sale, the price goes here, what the buyer wants to offer to the seller. So if we say 500. Now, this is a very commonly messed up section right here. So if this buyer is getting financing and wants to make a contingent upon getting financing, they fill out this section. If they're not worried about that, maybe they're paying cash or they're getting a loan, but they don't want to add a contingency, then they would check this box instead. This says it's waived. However, if you waive it, they're paying cash, leave this alone. I see so many times agents put 0% loan and then they check other and write cash. A 0% loan is not a thing, and the loan type shall be selected below. Other cash is not a loan type. So if they're waiving it, leave this blank. Again, this comes from fully reading the forms. And if you don't understand, work with your broker to fill it out completely the first time around. Another thing with contracts is working with another agent, and it sounds very cynical, but if you hear another agent say, I've been doing this for 30 years, or this is the way it's always been done, run the other way. It is probably being done incorrectly. If you are being told that based on years in the business, or this is the way it's always been done, do not go by that. So let's go through this contract. Appraisal, you would check this. Let me go to inspections. Okay. So here's another note I want to make about contracts. So with this purchase sale agreement, but all the forms have deadlines in them. So by default in this contract, calendar days are used. And for most deadlines, if it ends on a Saturday, Sunday, or legal holiday, it gets pushed to the next business day, ending at 11:59 p.m. So let's say, for example, we have a 10-day inspection period. So if today is August 8th, and we have 10 days, that means the 15th puts us at 7, 8, 9, 10. So this deadline would end on August 18th at 11:59 p.m. And so again, going back to not being cynical, but the whole premise of trust, but verify. So let's say, for example, it's August 18th. It's the last day of our inspection period, and your client needs more time to do the inspections. So they say, hey, you reach out to the other agent and say, hey, we're going to need an extra 3 days, or we're going to need through Monday to get all the inspections done. And the other agent texts you back and says, yep, that's okay. Then you wait till the 19th, and then you make repair requests, and the other agent says, oh, nope, your inspection period ended yesterday. And you said, wait a minute, through a text, you said we can extend till Monday. Well, it's not in writing and signed by the parties. So even though an agent might say, oh, that's okay, we can wait till Monday, you need it in writing, because that's how you can get stuck. Or if the buyer said, hey, I want to cancel, and it's on the 11th day, and you went based on the other agent's text that, hey, we're good through Monday. Well, now who's going to be in trouble? Probably you, because you just took the other agent's word for it. We need everything in writing. So sadly, it happens. It happens from the nicest agents. They say, push it, it's okay, we can wait till Monday for your inspection period. And then the very next day, you try to make a change or cancel or ask for repairs, and they say, tough luck, you're outside your inspection period. So it happens. So know your deadlines in this, and again, get everything in writing. Let me go down here a little bit later. Okay, special stipulations. This is a very key point of the contract. A lot of forms have different special stipulations. So if you notice, it says, if conflicting with any preceding section, shall control. So basically, this kind of overrides anything in the contract. However, special stipulations is not a playground. We need to know what we are doing. And the quickest advice I can give for special stipulations is using if-then statements. Too many agents out there just put the if section, and that can lead to trouble. So let's say pass, fail inspection, period. The problem with this is, what is a pass-fail inspection? Who determines if it's pass-fail? If it's the buyer that determines it, what if they fail this property and want to back out? Well, who gets the earnest money? It doesn't say. This is just the if part of the statement. So we want to use complete sentences. Another one is home must appraise for at least 10K within purchase price. Again, this is an if statement, because home must appraise for at least 10K within purchase price. That's great, but If this doesn't happen, then what happens? So if we say, here, I'll put one of the clauses we have by default to kind of show you the difference. So this agreement is contingent upon the sale and closing of the property located at blank on or before the closing date of this agreement. If buyer's property does not close on or before the closing date of this agreement, buyer may terminate this agreement with written notice to seller with refund of earnest money, trust money. So this is that then section. So if you apply that principle, if then statements, that will best help you navigate these special stipulations, and also call your broker if you need help. Another thing is time limit of the offer. So let's go through this. This offer may be withdrawn at any time before acceptance with notice. So a lot of common questions with contracts can be answered by reading this 2 times over. So what this is saying is, let's say today is August 8th, and my client wants to give the other party until 9 p.m. tomorrow to decide if they want to accept this offer. Well, what that means is, let's say the client, the buyer, sees a home tomorrow morning and they actually want to write an offer on that home instead of this one. Well, they can pull this offer because they have not received notice of acceptance and write a contract on the other home. So this can be pulled at any time. So that's kind of the risk as a listing agent. If you receive an offer from a buyer's agent, that offer can be pulled at any time. So you're kind of against the clock to make a decision for your client to make a decision to determine if they want to move forward, counter, or decline this offer. So that's what time limit of this offer is. The other thing is, let's say we write an offer as a buyer's agent, we write it to the listing agent, and they want to counter. So if you're the listing agent and your client wants to counter their offer, there is a counter offer form, but what we need to do is connect the puzzle pieces. We need to connect this purchase and sale agreement with the counter offer, because standalone, if we just have a counter offer, we don't know the initial terms. Even if it's in your same dot loop form, we don't know those two are connected. So it is proper to check counters, have the seller sign this, and then the sellers also sign the counter that they're sending over. And again, now the ball is in the buyer's court that the seller has countered, they've given a time limit of their counter, and the sellers could pull that counter at any time before acceptance of notice of acceptance, and go with a different offer. So that's kind of the back and forth with time limit of the offer. Make sure there is a time limit. Again, fill out as many blanks as you can. Being a real estate agent, we are not attorneys. We're not supposed to interpret the contract. We are not supposed to come up with legal terminology. So we want to avoid that and use more layman's terms if we are using special stips. And so with that, what I say to stay out of trouble, we are blank fillers. So fill out the blanks. Don't strike through any of the pre-written text. Use the blanks to override any of the text if you need to. And then let me go over 2 more common things with the forms. I know I'm kind of adding a lot of concepts here, so feel free to pause this video and go back. But 2 common forms with the purchase and sale agreement is an amendment and an addendum. So an addendum is adding terms to the purchase and sale agreement. You are adding additional things. So this is usually filled out when everybody is either filling out the purchase sale agreement or signing off on it. You just needed a place to add more terms. So that's what this is. An amendment, you are amending or changing terms to the purchase sale agreement. So everybody's already signed off on the initial contract, and we could be the next day after it's bound, but now we need to change something. We need to amend it. So that's what amendments are used for. And again, just have good clerical skills with labeling as many of the blanks as you can, numbering these, for example, so that way we can keep track. So later on down the road, if we see the title company sees amendment 2, well, they're going to ask, well, where's amendment 1? Or if everything's blank, we don't really have chronological order of all these amendments being filled out. So make sure amendment 1. And then later down the road, if you're filling out a separate one, amendment 2, amendment 3. So that's amendments versus addendums. Next thing I want to show you is one of those CF forms. So this is commercial. So you would not use a commercial mutual release form to cancel a residential purchase sale agreement. You would use a residential form, mutual release of purchase sale agreement and disbursement of earnest money trust money. So RF form 481. So this is one of the most common forms if you are canceling a contract. I highly, highly, highly recommend everybody signing off on this mutual release of purchase sale agreement. This basically, with a contract, when it is being terminated, I recommend everybody signing off on this because this is basically laying everything out there, who gets the earnest money, and everybody signing off on it. And that way there's no disputes later on. It highly, highly lowers the amount of legal liability going forward because everybody signed off, says here's who gets the earnest money deposit, and everybody signed off. So this is a form that when you're canceling a contract, I highly, highly recommend. Mutual release. Let me go back. Another situation I want to bring up is a listing agreement. So again, how I said Tennessee Realtors usually has a form for that. So one of the most common things is, let's say we have a list price of $500,000. Well, the seller, maybe they aren't getting a lot of offers or they're not having a lot of showings, so they want to lower the list price. So if they call you and say, hey, Zach, I want to lower the list price to $475, instead of just going on the MLS and lowering to $475, because that could happen, and then the seller say, wait a minute, I didn't tell you that, or I changed my mind. And then you're in trouble, and then $25K difference you could be on the hook for. So we want to document everything that is being told to us. So list price $500,000, they want to lower to $475. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that's awesome. I'll send you an amendment to the listing agreement. So you can say changed, listing price changed to $475, 1, 2, 3. And then have them sign off on it. And then once they've signed off, now I'm changing it officially in the MLS. So again, it's one of those trust, but verify. Whatever they tell you over the phone or verbally or in text message, let's get it in writing. And then one more form that I want to show you is the notification form. So this is one of the most important forms, but most underutilized. So let me, notification form, and I'm going to open this purchase sale agreement again to show you why I'm pulling up the notification. Go here. Okay, so in the purchase and sale agreement, you will notice throughout it, let's see. Buyer shall furnish seller with a list of written specified objections and immediately terminate this agreement via the notification form or equivalent written notice. So in Tennessee, equivalent written notice is not a text message, not yet. So email, mail, I believe a fax, or the official notification form serve as written notice. A text message does not. So for example, if we have our inspection period and the buyer wants to cancel because the foundation's bad, and they want to send notice to the seller that they are canceling, they need to do so via the notification form or equivalent written notice, just not a text. You can't text the other agent and say, hey, we're backing out of the deal and it's terminated. You need to do it via the proper written notice. So that's why I want to bring attention to this notification form. This form has 37 different situations that you could use this form for. So one of them being, they want to terminate this agreement, terminate this purchase and sale agreement. So you check this, you can list the specified objections, your client signs it, and then you send it over. Because again, you don't want to run into a situation where your client has told you, hey, I want to cancel this deal. You send an email to cancel the deal, and then the buyer says, oh, wait, I never wanted to terminate that, but now the deal's dead. So if they, whatever their intentions are, have it in writing. So that's why I highly recommend this notification form and reading this so you can properly utilize this throughout your transaction. So again, hope this helps you guys out with contracts, knowing kind of the basic framework. It is a meeting of the minds. It is a meeting of the minds between the buyers and sellers. We are not parties to this contract. So we need to best write out their intentions in this, clearly label who this is between, what is the closing date, what is the price, and then the time limit for acceptance. So we need to best help them out. That'll protect ourselves, protect our clients. But again, this is a meeting of the minds between the buyers and sellers. We are not parties to this contract. So we need to properly fill these out. If you have any questions, reach out to me and I will help you guys out. I'll see you guys next time.